Hello guys, this is Jacob. Today I'm making a video to show you how to turn Kaggle notebook or a Colab notebook to a virtual machine remotely so that you can connect your local development environment to make the LLM development or the any other development. Okay, so that being said, let's get started. So let's go to Kaggle, create a notebook, and go to Colab to create a notebook as well. And let's first go to the Kaggle notebook, and then we just call it Ollama VM because it's actually going to turn to a VM. And then we'll create a function called run. So this will run batch command, which is a Linux command on a Python environment. And then we just use Ollama as example. So I know we have created a video before to demo how to run Ollama within Kaggle. Please feel free to check that out as well. So this one basically just run the official Ollama install script. So you'll be able to install Ollama on your Kaggle notebook. So you see that's actually being installed. And because we turn off the GPU, so you know this is actually running on a CPU, which you'll see that it's actually have 30 gigs of memory because somehow the Kaggle or Collab at this moment doesn't support routing the traffic um, from public to notebooks if it's a GPU environment. It does support to route the traffic if it's a CPU environment for some reason. So basically this will turn to a virtual machine without GPU. So if you want to use GPU, you can still for sure use it within Kaggle.com or the Colab. Um, but if you want to make it remote, then right now only CPU is supported, but memory is big enough, so it still works. So that being said, let's continue. After you install Ollama, then if you want to just run in a GPU environment, run this command. But as I mentioned earlier, so we can skip this one because we do not want to run the GPU environment because it's not gonna route the traffic from the public environment. And then all we have to do next is to run the supervisor. So we want the supervisor to make the Ollama service more stable. So it will auto restart if it's not working, and or somehow it's stopped working, then it'll auto restart. And you can install either from pip or you do apt because the Kaggle.com notebook is a Linux environment. Um, then we basically just go to create a Ollama service configuration for supervisor. So you see basically just the command line we use Ollama server. So this is a default command to start the Ollama server as the official Ollama document says. We try to use GPU as you can see the environment here, but this will not work for Kaggle notebook. If you want to use supervisor and also want to expose the traffic to the public network. So this one, I just leave it here, but at this moment, this will not work. So I'll show that in a little bit. So after you create the supervisor configuration file, I just basically just try to start the supervisor. So we'll load the Ollama service in the backend. So then you can see that this actually supervisor is running, and we can check the logs from the log file that we specified in the supervisor configuration. You can see it here. So also one thing I want to notice, if you see the last log in here, it says inference compute. So it says CPU, not GPU, right? So it says no compatible GPUs were discovered. So if you use supervisor in Kaggle, somehow it's not be able to detect the GPU. But if you use Colab, the supervisor, if you set up in supervisor, it still be able to see the GPU. Um, so let's go to the Colab. So you'll be able to see basically um, this this also the same file, you can see the Colab is able to detect the GPU, right? So it will basically detect the GPU, and um, because Colab is not in a Conda environment as default. So I think when they spin up the image, it just a Linux, probably a Linux image, but for Kaggle, it start as a Conda environment. So for example, if you do a Python, you will see that this is actually in a Conda environment, right? So let's go back to Kaggle. Sorry, let's go back to Colab. You can actually just click here. You can see this is actually not in a Conda environment. So yeah, so I think that's probably one of the reasons why the Kaggle has some issues to detect the GPU if you use supervisor. But let's continue. So after that, we just check the Ollama status. So if the service is working or running or not. So it basically is running. And then you do the Ollama pull. So you will basically pull put a DeepSeek model. So because we're going to demo how this is going to help with the AI auto coding. So basically, DeepSeek is good with the AI coding. So basically, use AI to code it instead of the developer to code it. So it's one of the popular models do the AI coding, and then we just check the models in the Ollama, and so we can do Ollama list. So you can see the model is downloaded. And then if we want to export the traffic to the public network, so we use ngrok. Ngrok works with Kaggle, so we just do ngrok. So we just paste in the ngrok token. You can get a token from the ngrok console once you register the ngrok. So then next, we just simply say we want ngrok to route the traffic to the local notebook as a port 11,434. So this is the default Ollama port. So that being said, after all of that's configured, then this is a URL that is automatically generated from ngrok. So you click here, you can see it says Ollama is running. Right. So you can see Ollama is running. So it means it's already turned to a virtual machine, so you can actually connect remotely. Um, so before we do that, we also want to show you that, so this is the very similar things we did for Colab, uh, almost identical. And I think the only thing to mention is for Colab, there is some library issues. So we need to specify where the library is. So in the environment, just specify this library path, and then so and also basically just specify everything like that. Then it should just spin up correctly. So you can actually just do the same um, in any of the Kaggle or Colab Ollama sort of command line. So you can just test um, if this model is working. So let's say we just create a Minesweeper game using HTML, CSS, JS in Colab, right? You can do the same in Kaggle. You can definitely do the same in Kaggle. So you can do the same in Kaggle. Um, so in Colab, it will just give you a example output, right? So that means the model is working, right? So once we exposed everything as a public endpoint, so as we saw in here, right? Let's go up. So let's go here. So you see this is still working, and so let's use this URL and to test in Visual Studio, so see if Ollama is working or not. So let's go to Visual Studio. As you can see, in Visual Studio, um, we basically integrate, just do a test. So to do the test, we just integrate with the continue.dev. So which is one of the very popular AI coding environment in Visual Studio. The other one is Cloud Dev. It's alternative to Cursor AI, but let's in this video let's just do the continue.dev using uh, the new uh, virtual machine from Kaggle that we just created. So if you see this one, we just use name it as a um, Kaggle a DeepSeek Coder version 2. So we just directly configure it in the continue um, configuration environment. So it's just continue and your root directory, and then the configure JSON. So we basically configure it. So then you see this is actually the public URL that we just generated. So in here, in the continue environment, we just do basically you can select it, select whatever entry you just created. So this one is Kaggle, right? Just select Kaggle. So then um, and then you basically just do build Minesweeper game, the same we just saw in the Kaggle collab environment. Then it will basically generate everything for you. So that being said, this is working, and so if you want to install continue.dev, just go to the marketplace and search for continue.dev. So it will um, pop up the entry, so you can just select continue dev and then just do an install. It's very popular. Um, so that being said, um, so this is how you actually can turn Kaggle or Colab into a virtual machine, a remote virtual machine, so you can actually integrate with your local environment to do LLM development, or it can just do regular development. Depends on your usage case. So hope this video is helpful, and so please comment, subscribe, or maybe like it. So this is the only way that I know this content is helpful to you. So I'll create more of that. And thanks, and see you in the next one.